What's up, everybody, and welcome aboard the spaceship to Planet New Jersey, talking all things Garden State Parkway and the New Jersey Turnpike. With me today is the co-host Vinnie Civitillo, our special guest co-host Casey Skarecki, and our sponsors for the day, Howard Stein of Home Helpers Home Care. I think I got that right. I am still, of course, wearing an Eagles shirt to celebrate the big win we just had in the Super Bowl. Glad to have everybody aboard with us today, and I'm your host Randy Stephens, who you all have seen before. I'll stop right here and let Vinny throw us an icebreaker so we can jump right in.
Yeah, I mean, you just touched on it. So as of the time we're recording this, it's the 12th of February. This is going to air about a week from today, I want to say. But the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. Philadelphia is burning to the ground, and I wanted to get some thoughts on the whole thing.
Listen, we can't torture my guy Howard too much. He is a faithful, and I'm going to say that again for all the family and friends that'll watch this, a faithful Giant. He is wearing green today for those that are going to be checking out on YouTube.
Uh,
So we just have to put that out there as a little disclaimer.
Yeah, I got my home helpers green on today. But Randy, as I said, it's nice to know that at least you guys didn't burn your city down today. But listen, you got to give all credit where credit's due. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. It was an incredible, actually two games. To get there, and then the performance that was put up by Jalen Hurts was just pretty incredible, very special, and really congratulations. But being a Giants fan, that's about all I can do for you.
I was watching on the news. In previous years, they've greased up the poles because everybody climbs up the poles. This year, they took the poles with them. Like they disconnected the poles altogether and walked off with them. They were showing windows were broken, shattered, the whole nine.
It's
I
a
saw
whole
fire
nother
too.
level.
That's burning down to me.
Yeah.
It's just a whole nother level. My good friend was taking his son when the Eagles were playing the 49ers, who's 12 years old, and he wanted to wear his 49ers jersey. And he's like, you can't wear that into the Eagles Stadium. And he's like, but I'm 12. He's like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. So,
I'll take you
so
out.
my story is actually the same, 1986, and I think I told Randy this story. My dad took me to my first football game in Philadelphia, and we literally got booed out of the stadium, popcorn thrown at us. It was horrible. Yeah, the Giants won the Super Bowl that year, but if you know your football history, that was the first loss that they suffered after, what was a pretty good run. So, that has forever been, kind of etched in my sports, memory. And I will never forgive the city of Philadelphia for that.
Well, listen, I'm not going to torture Howard too much. We do appreciate just your open conversation to talk about the Super Bowl, at least for us this year. And just before I throw it for us to start asking some questions to dig in a little liked about Howard, I'm sorry, and helpers is that when they join BIA, then you heard me say this before. There's kind of like the ideal members that join, right? Those that come in, take some time to connect with us, and a lot of it is oftentimes me myself on the front side with orientations and things. But come and connect, find out exactly what BIA has to offer and how they can fit in and take advantage. And Home Helpers Home Care has done exactly that. We've shared some press releases about the organization, which you guys can look up and see. And even before we get into some of the awards that they've recently received. I believe you guys are celebrating 5 years. Is that right, Howard?
That's
Or
right.
five-year
This is our
anniversary this year?
5-year anniversary. So
Ah, congrats.
really
Congratulations.
excited about that. Being that it's 5 years, if you go back 2020, that we went right into the face of COVID. So that was really difficult and challenging, but we persevered and just glad that we got that behind us and just glad to be here and be able to serve the community as best as we can. That's really been our mission since day one.
I'm going to say of a lot of industries, yours would have been particularly hit
Right,
and
right, Vin.
particularly hard to conduct during that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting it's kind of was little bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because people were fleeing facilities to come wanting to come home, but the challenge was the workforce. Right. So that's where it really kind of became a challenge for us was, shrinking workforce, people worried, not really knowing what this is. So it represented a real challenge for a startup like ours.
And Howard, tell me, I remember one of the things from our previous conversation, I had wrote this down because I just like the effect of it, and I'm sure it's pretty impactful for you guys. You say locally grounded with a wide wingspan. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think that we want to be present in our community and not just to deliver care, right? And it's about participation. It's about working on some of the legislative issues that impact our seniors and our veterans, right? It's being able to give back. It's being able to be a good employer and a good neighbor. I think that's when I look at other companies that inspire me. Those are the things that they do. And I remember to my previous corporate career, I always kind of appreciated the mission of some of these corporations, but they weren't really able to deliver it locally. It was a more of a broad brush type of approach. But here we can really deliver something where I live, make a difference in terms of the care that we provide and the employment that we also offer. I think that is something that differentiates us, especially as a family-owned business whose kids grew up in the community and we live in this community. It's something that's really important to us.
Now, the community, I mean, you're in Freehold,
Right.
right? So we're kind of in the same neck of the woods. I'm in Asbury,
Hmm.
and Monmouth County. The community that you're talking about is so important in business. And I was looking through your website, and I'm familiar with home health care, but what I found so exciting or important was the importance on companionship, which I feel like is not always. It's a lot of physical care, but the companionship component is so important, especially with fostering community. And you talk about the companionship level.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that there's kind of two different services that we offer. One is basic companionship for seniors that feel isolated, seniors and
Mhm.
veterans that are kind of isolated. Maybe they don't have family that lives locally. So we can come in and do something simple like just play games or watch a movie, take them to the mall. And that has a pretty big impact on their everyday. It's something for them to look forward to. And especially post holidays, especially in the winter months, that isolation could actually have serious health repercussions for our seniors. So that's something that's really important. And the other aspect is someone who would need a little bit more care. So maybe they're a fall risk, or they can't go get into a shower safely, or something even just as basic as going to the bathroom independently. We can provide that level of care and support. Also, it's also important to note that there's always an element of nurse supervision around that, and our aides are licensed home health aides. So that's really also something very important when you're considering home care. Is one of the main reasons why you want to work with an agency like ours is because we are licensed, we are bonded, we are insured. The folks that we put into your home, background checks, etc., and they're under certified home health aide, and then they're also under the supervision of an RN, and that's I think enables us to have much better outcomes for the people that we're entrusted to care for.
Steve,
Absolutely.
oh, go ahead.
No, I just say that's a lot of trust. You are inviting someone into your home. It's good to know that you have that behind
Right,
you,
right.
as just to feel a little more secure.
Yeah, 100%.
I was going to ask about the caregivers themselves. Are they volunteers that you train, or is it are they
Yeah.
this
They
like
come from all walks of life, and it's actually really it's an interesting question of where the caregivers come from, but they really come from all walks of life. And I have caregivers that this is their vocation, this is their primary job. I have church moms that want to come back into the workforce, right? Because their kids are now grown up, but they want to do something that's important to them where they feel like they're helping and contributing. And so they really come from all different places. And like I said earlier, growing this workforce is so critical. I think that just in general, direct care workers aren't necessarily a respected group of the workforce, but they really play such a critical role. And we know that the baby boomers are really such an expanding population that they're going to need a tremendous amount of care in the coming years. And we, um, as a community, as a state, as a country, really have to be able to address that. Because otherwise, I think the crisis, the healthcare crisis that we're currently in, is going to continue to grow.
Howard, you mentioned before in the prior meeting, you said just a few moments ago, about your corporate background. So, what led, particularly, if you don't mind sharing, to the transition to what you guys are doing now?
Well, I mean, I was in the healthcare industry,
Okay.
so this was kind of an easy transition, but it was really more about personal experience that led me kind of down this path. My family, my grandparents needed care, and to see the contrast between what is just kind of okay versus what was really good care that my wife's grandparents got made a real impact in their life, their quality of life, and their longevity in terms of their wellness.
All right. So, Howard, you mentioned before, well, actually, I was saying that my grandmother recently was in rehab, and she's had like an extensive medical background working in the medical field for a long time. And the one thing I hear her oftentimes talk about when we visit loved ones in the hospital is bedside manner. So it seems like kind of the similar thing of what you're talking about, the quality of care that folks are given in the industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, bedside manner is just your attitude towards that person, right? And we always talk about compassion, right? And compassionate care to be able to empathize with another human being, and understand that you're there to take care of that person. And sometimes and often in a very kind of intimate way that, maybe people are uncomfortable with or embarrassed by because they can't do certain things. So it really, that caregiver, it really it really requires a special type of person to be able to do that. And to as an agency owner, as an employer, that's not something that's always evident when you are interviewing people, but that's kind of the art and the science in terms of what we try to do, what we're looking for. And we want to get to those compassionate people that are able to deliver that type of compassionate, empathetic care that we want our clients to have, so that they can live in the place that they call home and age safely in place.
You know what? If you're listening to this at home and it's choppy, I'm just gonna put it right out there. Today, we got dumped on with snow last night, and my power, the power went out in the middle of this, and now the internet keeps going out. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Well, I think that our listeners are going to be compassionate.
Ah.
And empathetic.
That's right. They will understand.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, so wait a minute. So that's a pretty strong reach. Are you is do could you go beyond that, or is that kind of your focus?
No, so like think about it. We're a franchise, right? So being a franchise, we do have a limited kind of area in which we service. But the nice thing about working with home helpers is we pretty much have the whole entire state of New Jersey
Oh,
covered.
nice.
There's
Wow.
roughly 8 home helpers offices. I work with those folks all the time, and if I can't take care of a specific area, I'm more than happy to make that referral to one of my neighbor owners, and we work together constantly and continuously on that. And in the event that, it's not going to be a home helper's office, it's really important to us to make sure that any referrals that we get to the right person that can deliver the care that that client needs for whatever reason.
Well, that's kind of phenomenal because it is difficult knowing, you're talking about the boomer generation, parents are boomers and their friends, and some people have started kind of enter into that stage of life. And it is very difficult to find someone you trust and feel good about having in your home and that level of care. And if you are outside that area, it's good to know that you have somebody that you already know how you work and you can refer me to somebody. I mean, I think that's worth its weight in gold because you kind of don't know where to go sometimes when you're at that stage.
I mean, I think that when people come to us, especially for the first time, they really don't know what to do. So it's our job to educate them. We want them to look at other agencies, but we also want them to understand that, are you working with a licensed agency? Is that agency accredited, right?
Mm.
Are you going to get a home health aide? Now, agencies are more expensive than hiring somebody privately. But with that, if you're gonna hire someone privately, and that's certainly a valid path, there are things that you also have to do because you are now responsible as that employer. And I think that, the education piece around that, being able to help the consumer in this case make an educated decision about their care provider is something that's really important because they're, like you said, Casey, some people come into this and don't really know what their options are, don't really know what's available, and we want to try to help them. Of course, we want them to work with us, but we want them to come to us with that confidence, and that education is going to enable them to do that.
And it's interesting, like speaking of confidence, it's not too often where you're looking for any type of hired help, right? That you tell people, hey, go out and compare us to other folks, right? So that just kind of speaks to the confidence that you have, which leads me to my questions. You guys have recently got some awards for the year. Best Home Care Employer of Choice. Like, talk about that a little bit, Howard.
Yeah, so we actually have received a number of awards. So what you were talking about was actually Home Care Pulse, now Active Insights. They give annual awards, and we did win Best of Employer and
Nice,
Best of Home Care Provider for the
nice.
last 4 years now. So really excited about that, and that speaks volumes to the quality that we provide. Active Insights is a third party that comes in and interviews all of our clients and our employees, and then we're ranked nationally. Those results are ranked nationally, and that's how we come to the best of category. We also just received an award from Caring Stars, and we've gotten that award also for the last 4 years. So we've only been in business for 5 years. So
Yeah.
having said
Wow.
that, I think that that's where some of the confidence comes in, right? And we're also very proud of our Google reviews as well. Those client testimonials talk about the care that our caregivers provide. It talks about the quality of nursing supervision that they get from our nurse, that engagement with the family. Because one thing that we didn't talk about, we focused primarily on the care that individuals received, but I often say we're in the peace of mind business for the families
I
that
like
we
it. I
serve,
like
right?
it.
Because it's the daughter, it's the son-in-law that's worried about mom, and we have to give them that peace of mind, knowing that consistency of care, that continuity of care is going to be there day in and day out. And that's also a big part of our service delivery.
Right. You know what? You're right. We were talking about a lot about the individual care, but there is so much um, that goes, with that. I remember my girlfriend's mom had a stroke, and she talked about how she was so grateful that they had set up the family, her and her brothers and sisters had set up kind of a fund for their mother, and they felt good that they had that quality care for her, and they could still, she had a business, she could still concentrate on her business and her family and feel safe and secure that her mom was being taken care of. And I hadn't thought about it, because a lot of us, like we said before, are are going to go into this for the first time.
Yeah, and being prepared for that, we often find that when families come to us in crisis, they haven't had a lot of these conversations. Things like long-term care insurance, healthcare proxy, right? Um, is there a will? Is there, like all of those types of things? You need to have those conversations way before that eventuality occurs. So, you can plan and have something like a long-term care insurance policy that's going to enable you to get the care that you need when you need it. Um, those conversations are almost impossible if you come to me in crisis, or if mom has, more of an advanced dementia where she can't make those decisions for herself. So that planning aspect of it, having those conversations is super important. Even though they may be uncomfortable, it's gonna prevent a lot of problems in the long run. And at least you can understand what the wishes are. You can try to respect those wishes as best you can. And then of course, being able to financially plan for these eventualities, if you're lucky to get that to be that old, is something that I think is really important. And we don't want to, not put the highlight on that, because when people come to me in crisis, it's really, really tough. And you can see the amount of stress and strain that that puts on a family, and especially that primary caregiver,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, you know, the typical scenario is that primary caregiver who's ever taken care of that individual, something happens to them,
Right.
right? And that's when, there's a lot of stress that's put on the family to kind of pick up the pieces. And if you don't plan for those things, then, you're going to kind of have to, go with the flow, and whatever you're able to do, it may not be enough. It may not be how you would have wanted to do things. But you have to plan for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's happened to several, I mean, people that I know with their parents. And so I wouldn't think about it. But me and my girlfriends talking about we're getting long term care now because so we don't have to worry about it and it's less expensive the younger you get it. So, but having those conversations, which are uncomfortable, we're seeing it where it is not planned out for some of my friends. My other girlfriend did work out, but that's something that I'm looking into right now,
Yeah.
which is seems crazy.
Yeah, but it's a good exercise. It's a good exercise to do, and we always encourage that. But usually when people come to me, they're at that. It's too late in the stage to do that.
We've got time for maybe two to three more questions. But Howard, one of the things I'm thinking about is what's like a typical time frame you guys? I don't know if it works by contract or just by needs. Like I'm sure that folks may need home care for after surgery recovery, maybe some end of life things. Like, do you see a typical time frame that
No,
you're
it's
working
it's
with?
not really a typical time frame, but we can talk about types of situations. So, and you touched on a few of them. I think often we get what is called a recuperative care case.
Okay.
So, someone post-surgery, it could be something like maybe a hip replacement, a knee replacement, those types of things where they're gonna have a finite period of recovery. Maybe we'll be there to support them for 4 to 8 weeks while they recover, make sure that they can, be safe in their house, get that shower safe. And then when those folks go back to independence, we consider that a victory. That's one type of scenario. Um, More longer term is when people come to us for like the companionship, and we see those types of cases often evolve, sometimes more, right? Care is needed. And that's fine too. Those, just based on how the cycle works, we evaluate our clients, reevaluate them every 6 months. But if something does happen, if there is a kind of a life-changing event, we can always kind of pivot that care plan and change our care plan so that we can make sure that they get the level of care that they um, actually need. And for end of life, stage, typically we'll be working with a hospice company,
Gotcha.
right? And work hand in hand to ensure that that person the rest of their days is pain-free and with dignity and supporting the family so that they can get the care that they needed at end of life. And I'll just say this, seeing that day after day, it brings a certain light to how my own life, right? And like the types of things that I would like to have. But it's a hard and humbling kind of thought process to think about. You never want to be a burden on your children, but at the same time, you want to have as much quality of life, right? You want to live as robustly as you can and enjoy life while you can, because once you get older, to do those things becomes more and more of a challenge. So, I like to say, if you want to buy the tickets, because you might not be able to do it down the road, So sometimes, life takes unexpected turns. A service like us is going to be there to help you through that. But yeah, it has its ups and its downs, and unfortunately, sometimes being old is difficult.
Mhm.
I'm feeling that.
And you're a baby.
That's not quite what I was talking about, Vinny, but I'll give you an E for effort there.
And, I've got one question, then we'll jump into our game show here. So you mentioned some of the logistical things that have to be in place for insurances and all that sort of stuff. If someone comes and they don't, are you guys as home helpers able to help with some of those things, or are you guys just the direct care portion of things, Howard? Like in terms of the insurances that are required, the wills and all that good stuff,
Oh
and those.
yeah, no. So I mean, I think being in the community, right? This goes to the community component again. So
Okay.
being able to comfortably refer someone to a service that can provide those things is critical, right? And whether it's, a trust and estate attorney or an elder attorney, or it could be something like a skilled nursing facility if someone needs to go in, or for a doctor's recommendation, or for some other type of service if maybe they're downsizing their home, right? So, NJBIA is a great, networking opportunity for me, but I continue to do that even locally in Monmouth County in Freehold. I want to know all the best providers so that when that question does come from a family, we can direct them confidently to the right place. And those community care partners are critical in that. And I spend a lot of time working with other local providers so that we can be able to comfortably refer.
It's amazing, and we thank you for the BIA plug there for networking as well. I think there's no better way than to transition to our game show here to kind of wrap things up.
All right, we ready for our game show?
Let's go. Oh, let me get a piece of paper.
All right, ding, ding, ding. Everybody get your paper. What you win is the inner satisfaction of winning.
Well, good, because I'm losing every one of them. So
It used to be a Wawa gift card, but I haven't been able to get it together to get the Wawa gift cards.
I've been paranoid that somebody's going to comment on one of our Facebook posts like, they lie, they don't send them. We're working on it. If you were a past guest, we've got them. We're getting them out.
We are. We're going to get them out. They're a little backed up. All right, so here we go. So this is how it works, right? You're going to write down the answer on a piece of paper, hold up your paper, and we got 3 questions.
and hopefully your digital background doesn't
Yeah.
allows it to show.
We'll see what happens. Here we go. Anything's going to happen today. Number 1, what is the New Jersey state bird? These are all New Jersey-based trivia questions. How well do you know your state?
I
we have a
happen to
hint?
know this one actually, or at least
Wow.
I knew it. I don't know if it changed.
Well,
at
let's see. You sound pretty confident.
I am
Can we get a hint?
Yeah.
No, you get no hint.
No, it's
It is not a bird of prey. I'll tell you
hints
that.
are for out of staters, Randy.
It's not a bird of prey. I'll give you that, and it's on the smaller side.
To be honest with you, I know the name of this thing. I couldn't visualize it to save my life. I wouldn't know if it was a bird of prey or not. Like, thing could be 8 feet tall for all I know.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
small. It's a small bird. It's like that big.
All right, I'm ready. We'll take a
That's
guess.
your
And let's see.
Oh
I don't know. Howard doesn't look
Wait,
very
wait, wait, wait.
confident.
What's
That's
that?
Oh.
Word?
Goldfinch. That's right. It's the
Goldfinch.
goldfinch.
Yeah.
Then how do you know that? We'll deal with that
I
later.
learned that back in Boy Scouts. I remember that.
Nice.
If I took one thing with me, it's how to tie knots and that our state bird is the goldfinch.
All right. Well, this is fun. This is a celebrity one, multiple choice. Okay. Who is the celebrity that is not from New Jersey? Is not from New Jersey. So here's our choices. What celebrity is not from New Jersey? Shaquille O'Neal, Billy Joel, Bradley Cooper, or Joe Pesci? Who's not from New Jersey? So Shaquille O'Neal, Billy Joel, Bradley Cooper, or Joe
A
Pesci.
lot of options. I'm making a guess
I
here.
think I know.
All right, let's see.
I'm going with Bradley Cooper for those.
I
who
went
know.
with Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal, you said Bradley Cooper. Howard,
Shaq
what do you
went to
have?
LSU
Billy
out in
Joel.
Louisiana.
Shaq's
Like,
from Newark.
Billy
I know
Joel.
that.
Shaq is from Newark, and he has a tattoo that says Brick City on him. That's Newark.
What's the right answer?
Howard, you have Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
And Randy, you have Bradley Cooper. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, Randy, Bradley Cooper.
Wow.
Oh, we got Randy one. All right.
We will definitely be giving out gift cards if I win this.
I
so.
thought Billy Joel too, because I thought he grew up in Long Island. But
Yeah,
I guess
that's what I was thinking.
I guess he was born in New Jersey, and then
Bradley Cooper is an Eagles fan.
I mean, because we really don't. We talk about Bon Jovi and Bruce, right? I didn't know that Billy was in the conversation.
I think he was just born New Jersey briefly and moved skedaddled right away to New York because he's
Just
definitely
felt
known
like
from New
New
York.
Jersey. I don't know.
We've got a tie here. We got to give my man Howard another chance.
All right, so if we don't get this one, I have a backup. The
Okay.
first submarine ride ever in 1878 was in New Jersey. What river was the first submarine ride in New Jersey? What New Jersey river? That's
I mean,
that's I have a backup.
seriously,
If I'm being honest with you, I am blanking on the name of just about every river in the state. So I'm going.
I know one,
right
and that's the
next
one I'm
door,
going with.
and it's
That's what I'm
it?
doing too, Vin. I'm going Delaware.
Delaware.
I'm not even here.
It
There's my
can't be deep
question
enough
mark.
for that,
I
though.
embarrassed myself today.
That's what I thought
Okay. It's the Passaic River.
Wow.
Yeah.
too. Wow.
All right.
1878, the very first one. I know that was like, but who knows? You know, you never know. This is why this is what we're learning. Okay, so here we go. What New Jersey-based university, whose athletic nickname is the Scarlet Knights, was known as Queens College from 1766 until 1825?
I know that one
What
because I've
university,
acted
New
recently.
Jersey-based university, whose athletic nickname is the Scarlet Knights?
I'm going to guess we don't need a lot of time on that one, right?
Let's see. What does everybody have?
Rutgers.
Yeah.
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Rutgers. So we have Rutgers.
Yeah.
Rutgers. Hey, got one.
All right,
That was the
so-
layup, though. Come on. At least I got that one. Didn't cheat myself.
I'm going to be honest. If you didn't say the Scarlet
Randy,
Knights,
I
I
think
wouldn't
you
have
won.
known the other part of it. So.
I'll concede and I'll give the tie to our special guest, Home Helpers
Sure.
Home Care, and my friend Howard Stein. Howard, just before we let you go, man, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to just kind of briefly touch on before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, I think, one thing I just want to let the community know is that, veterans, right? Often there are veterans that don't know what to do and how to navigate the system in order to get some of the resources that are available to them. I welcome any veteran families to give us a call. We want to help them navigate the system. If we can help them with any of the VA programs, that's something that we would love to do. If we can get them, if they qualify for the community health program, They could potentially get, home care provided with no out-of-pocket cost. But there are a lot of benefits that veterans are entitled to, and often families don't know what they are. They don't know how to get them, or if they've struggled to get those services, so that, and especially in Monmouth, I think the Office of the Aging and the Veteran Services do a really great job. I work with them fairly closely, so I'm very confident that we can at least get you in the right direction if we don't know the answer. So I would encourage any of our veteran families, if you have questions, to reach out. We're happy to help. And really appreciate this opportunity, Randy, to talk with NJBIA today. This was real fun, and really appreciate it.
Pleasure was ours.
And then you usually ask a
Yeah,
contact question.
absolutely. It was really,
Yeah, so I
really
was gonna
super
say I have
interesting.
one last, and that's if anybody wants to get a hold of you guys, maybe set up some care, maybe volunteer. I don't know. How can they get a hold of you?
Sure, they can give us a call at 908-975-0400.
And thank you, Howard. Thank you to our special guest host, Casey Skarecki, as usual. Vinny, the guru of comms, again, Randy Stephens, Howard. We appreciate it. And thank you all for joining, and we'll see you again soon.
Go
Casey, since you
Giants.
Casey said, nice one. Casey, since you're here, we'll
Gotcha, buddy. See
bye,
ya.
guys.